A universal phenomena hit the North Country on June 10th, and one local science teacher was there to capture it all. Barry Ducharme is a high school science teacher at the Indian River Central School District in Philadelphia, New York.
I teach earth science, biology, and I teach an engineering class when we actually have face-to-face classes. I became a teacher when I was 39. Before that, I was many things. I was a business owner. I worked for my family's business, and at one point, I was also a videographer for ABC TV up in Alaska. Terrific job. Really solidified my love of photography.
And he has extended this passion for photography to the classroom with his most recent endeavor, capturing the 2020 solar eclipse that was visible in the majority of the northern hemisphere.
So I decided I'm not going to miss this one. And I took my gear out early Thursday morning and put the solar filters on my lenses. And I ended up with the photos that, people have been looking at.
Which, in this instant, the photographs were out of this world. However, this eclipse was different than the conventional ring of fire, which is what compelled Ducharme to use this as a teaching opportunity for his students.
This was a partial solar eclipse, which means that we weren't directly in line with the moon and the sun, so we didn't get to see the ring of fire. But we got to see, luckily for us, we got to see about an 80% blockage or eclipse of the sun. And that 20% of the sun that was still exposed, that was still bright enough so that we couldn't see the eclipse with the naked eye. You still had to use the solar glasses. I still had to use filters on my cameras so that I didn't ruin the camera or my eyes.
He used these warnings and safety precautions to teach his earth science students about the eclipse itself and his biology students on how the sun rays can harm the eye. And these lessons extended outside the classroom in preparation for and on the morning of the eclipse.
I did a little research ahead of time, and I knew that the sunrise was going to be at 56 degrees northeast. So I went driving around for a little bit, trying to find a spot that was clear to the horizon at 56 degrees. Driving around with I couldn't really find a spot I liked. So my wife came out with me and we drove around for a while. And then she looked at me, she said, "You ever think of Thompson Park?" And it was one of those, oh, duh moments. And got up at 3:30 on Thursday morning, packed all my stuff in the truck, went up. And when I arrived at 4:45, I expected there to be a crowd. Being an eclipse geek like I am, I thought, there must be more like me out there. But I was the only one there. So I got all my cameras set up and I was ready for the eclipse. And then people started to trickle in. I think we had maybe 10 people by the time the eclipse actually happened. I ended up being the only one that had the correct filters for the camera. So even though there were several other people trying to take pictures, they couldn't see anything more than you would see simply looking at it with the naked eye, just basically the sun.
Because of this, Ducharme started taking photographs and then moving away from the camera so the group could experience the phenomena together. From there, many took photographs of Ducharme's camera, waited for more shots, and enjoyed the thrill until many, like himself, had to go to work and teach students.
Finding like-minded people together like that, it was just a little informal party going on there. And I think part of it that made it even better was the fact that we've been isolating from each other for so long. And finally, we're outdoors. We don't have our masks on. We're talking about something we all have in common. And we had just a fantastic time for about an hour and a half, and then back to being responsible again.
For ABC 50 Now in Watertown, I'm Isabella Colello. For more local news, go to informnny.com or download the ABC 50 mobile app.